Welcome to the Think Self-Publishing Podcast, where we talk all things self-publishing, making money online, and reaching your goals. If you enjoy the podcast, make sure you sign up for the free video seminar, Confessions of a Self-Publisher, and discover 7 powerful rules for publishing in today's competitive marketplace. Go to thinksp.net/confessions to join. Now here's your host, James, and let's get started with the show.
Welcome to the Think Self-Publishing Podcast, Episode 9. In this episode, I want to give a general overview of what Kindle publishing is, right? So the title of the episode is Kindle Publishing Explained, and I want to try to give everyone who's new to self-publishing an overall idea of what Kindle publishing is and what starting a business like this what's the point of it and how you would go about doing it, okay? So the reason I want to talk about this is because a lot of people who are listening to this podcast, they're extremely new to Kindle, okay? And you may have never even had the idea or heard of someone who has a self-publishing business, and you probably never had the idea of starting a self-publishing business. So in this episode, I want to just talk about that, and I want to talk to you guys directly about self-publishing and about making money in this manner. So what's the overall idea of self-publishing? Okay, so a self-publishing business is basically where you will be creating or writing your own books. Okay, and these books can be on any topic, okay? Usually the books will be nonfiction. You can do fiction books, right? But some people might not even know the difference between nonfiction and fiction, and they might have to look it up. I remember in the beginning, I used to always have to look it up, like what is the definition of nonfiction, what is the definition of fiction, and the easy way that I remembered it was fiction means fake, right? So a nonfiction book is a non-fake book, so that means there's going to be real information in the book. Okay, whereas a fiction book is going to be like a fantasy or a story. So when you're self-publishing, you can either publish nonfiction books or fiction books. Okay, what I teach and what I recommend and the way I make money with self-publishing is I publish nonfiction books. Okay, so topics on gardening, topics on travel, things like that. Okay. As opposed to fiction, which would be, fantasies and romance novels and like sci-fi and stuff like that. You can do that stuff, but I don't teach that, and I don't really recommend that you get started with that. I recommend for people to get started with nonfiction, okay? Because the nonfiction information, it's freely available online, so you have access to a bunch of information to then write a book on a given topic, okay, if it's nonfiction. So in Kindle publishing, if you start a self-publishing business and you're trying to make money online, self-publishing, the idea is that you're going to write or create your own books, right, that are nonfiction books, okay? You're going to write these books or get them written for you. Once the book is written, okay, and the book can be any number of pages, once the book is written, then there's a whole process that goes into, formatting the book and getting a cover and things like this. And then once you have a proper book, right, you upload that book to Amazon, and then you sell it, okay? And that's basically the idea, right? The idea is you're going to create your own books, and you're going to sell them on Amazon, right? It's a very simple idea, okay? Now, when you're selling your books on Amazon, okay, there's going to be 2 ways that the books are sold, okay? So the books are going to be sold digitally, right, as an ebook, that people can download and view on their smartphones or on their tablets or on a Kindle device, a book made specifically for reading. So your books are going to be made available they're going to be made available digitally as an ebook, and also your books are going to be made available as print books. Okay, so if you have like a novel in front of you, or like a cookbook that's like a soft cover, you'll be selling books like that as well, okay? So when people go to your, so every time you make a book, it's going to create like a page on Amazon where your book's available for sale, and people can buy the book in two different ways, right? So they could buy the ebook version and they could buy the printed version, right? And it's all based on the preference of the person, how much money they want to spend. Okay, so when you start this self-publishing business of creating your own books and selling them, right, and you're using Amazon to do it, right, because Amazon is the best place to do it. Amazon has two platforms. They have a platform called KDP, which stands for Kindle Direct Publishing, okay? And they have a platform called CreateSpace, okay? So createspace.com, okay? Now, once you have a book written, right, and you have the Word document, right, because all books are going to be Word documents, okay? Once you have that Word document, you have to format and all this stuff. We're not going to go into details like that, but once you have your Word document, when you submit that Word document to KDP, right, remember there's two platforms. So there's the KDP platform, Kindle Direct Publishing, and there's a platform, CreateSpace, and these are both Amazon businesses, okay? They're both owned by Amazon. Once you have your Word document, that's your book, right? You can submit that book to both places, right? You're going to submit that book to both places, right? So you're going to upload that book to KDP, right? And when you upload it to KDP, that's going to create a digital version of the book available for sale on Amazon for people to download digitally, right? But that same Word document can be submitted to another platform called CreateSpace, right? And when you submit it to CreateSpace and you go through all the steps, that book will be printed on demand when people buy it, and it'll be mailed to their house, right, as a physical book, okay? So Amazon does everything for you, basically, right? Your job is to create the books, format the books, come up with the ideas for the books, and to upload the books. And then after you do that, Amazon's going to make your books available for sale digitally and in a printed format, okay? Your digital format is going to be cheaper than your printed one. So I like to do pricing based on the number of pages in the book, but a general rule of thumb, the way I price most of my books is if you want the digital version of the book, you will pay $2.99, okay? And if you want the printed version of the book, you will pay $9.99, right? So less than $10. And so since Amazon's handling pretty much everything, the distribution of the book, the printing and all this stuff, obviously you're not going to make the entire amount of money that you charge for your book, right? You only make a portion of the book, right? And the portion of the book that you make, okay, the portion, the money that you make from your sale, that's called royalties, right? So every month Amazon pays you royalties, and at the end of every month, right, those royalties are deposited into your bank account, okay? So for a digital sale, right, so remember I say that you should price your books. So I price my books at $2.99 digitally and $9.99 for the printed version. And so off of that sale, if someone buys a digital version of your book and they pay $2.99, you're going to make $2, okay? And if someone prefers to buy the printed version of the book, right, and let's say you price your books at $9.99 like I do, right, you're going to make around $3 to $3.50, okay? It all depends on the number of pages in the book, right? So the more pages in your book, the less you're going to make, but then you can set the price a little higher so you make a little more of a royalty. But, you know, that gets into specifics that aren't really so important. But the idea that I want you to get is a self-publishing business is the idea of creating your own books, okay, and using Amazon's platforms to then sell those books. Okay, and you're going to sell a digital version of your book, and you're going to sell a printed version of your book, okay? And for every sale that you get from these books, right, you make a portion, you make a smaller portion of the sale, right, and those are your royalties, and Amazon sends you those royalties just as long as the book is available for sale and people are buying it, okay? So the beauty of a self-publishing business, you know, I spoke about this in the last podcast, is it's a fairly passive business. And there's a lot of other benefits. So if you want to know the benefits of starting this type of business, listen to the last episode. I think it's episode 8 where I talk about 4 benefits of self-publishing. But it's a fairly passive business, and your job is to focus on creating books. Okay, and that's not an easy task, right? Especially to do it at scale. Okay, so your job in this type of a business is to focus on creating creating the books and getting them uploaded and controlling quality. And then, you know, just continuing to stay consistent and keep publishing. Okay, so hopefully that's a good idea of the overall idea. Or that's a good explanation of the overall idea. so with that, right, I'm gonna just talk about just simply, how you would go about doing this. I'm not gonna really go into so many details because obviously, this is only episode 9, and there's a lot of episodes for me to go into more details. If you have any questions, definitely ask. Um, so 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 like I mentioned, you're gonna create these books, you're gonna upload them to Amazon, and then you're gonna make royalties from the sales. Okay. So how do you create a book? All right. So the way to create a book is basically there's 4 steps. Okay. The first step is what's called niche selection. Okay. And a niche is just a specific group of people that care about a specific thing, right? So, golfing is a niche, um, sewing is a niche, gardening is a niche, diets and health and wellness and fitness, that's a niche, right? Because it's just a small subset of consumers that care about a particular thing. Okay, so when you're publishing your books, the first step is to pick a niche, right? So let's say you pick like dieting or something, like weight loss, right? So the first step is you pick your niche. Okay, so I'm going to go over the steps before I go into any details. So the first step is you're going to pick a niche, right? So you're going to pick a general category for you to write books in, right? Then after you've selected that niche, right? The next step is to get your book written, right? So you can write books yourself, but I don't recommend that. I recommend you use outsourcing, right? So the first step is you pick your niche, then you get your book written, okay? Then you format the book, and then you upload the book. All right. So it's 4 steps, and when you start this type of a self-publishing business, basically your days are going to be doing those 4 things over and over again for as many books as you can, because the way you make more money with this is you publish more books. Okay. So I'm going to go into a little more detail about getting the book published, just so you can get started, right? Because this amount of information I'm giving you, even though it's not so detailed, when I started self-publishing, this is all the information I had, and I just went and started doing it, and then I learned over time, right? So I've been doing this now for close to 3 years. But what I'm telling you now is enough for you to get started, okay? So if you want to publish a book, what you're going to do is you're going to pick a niche, right? So let's say you want to pick health and wellness, right? Or diets, like dieting or something like that, weight loss, right? So you're going to pick your niche, and you're going to pick a specific topic within that niche, right? So let's say you want to do weight loss, okay? So you're going to be dealing with diets. Pick a diet, right? So let's say like a ketogenic diet, right? That's a diet where people, they don't eat any carbs, and they try to consume more fats than anything else, okay? And they keep the carbs, like they don't even eat carbs, okay? So you pick your niche, and you say, okay, I want to write a book on the ketogenic diet, right? Because that's a very specific topic within a niche, and there's only a specific group of people who care about that, right? Ketogenic diets, okay? So you say, okay, I want to write a book on ketogenic diets, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the next step, which is getting your book written, right? So you're not going to write it yourself. You can try to write it yourself, and I'll probably make a podcast on the best way to do that, but I don't recommend you do that, right? The best thing you can do is to get your book written for you, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to outsource the writing of your book, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to go to a website, upwork.com, upwork.com, right? And you're going to post a job, and you're going to say, hey, I want somebody to write me a book on the ketogenic diet, right? So getting started, try to make your book 5,000 words to 10,000 words, okay? That's going to cost you anywhere from $60 to $100 to get that book written, okay? And it all depends on the number of words. So for every 100 words that someone writes for you, you should pay them $1, right? So also let me explain what Upwork is. Upwork.com is a website for outsourcing, right? There's people all over the world who go to Upwork.com and they say, hey, I'm in Indonesia, I'm in Nigeria, I'm in, Kenya or Pakistan or the Ukraine, wherever, right, that they have an internet connection and they know about this website. People can go to the website and work, okay? So when you put your job posting, you say, hey, I want somebody to write me a book on the ketogenic diet, right? And you say inside of your job posting, you say, hey, I want this book to be, let's say, 6,000 words or 7,000 words, whatever, based on the amount of money you have to spend on this. They're going to look at that and they're going to say, okay, yeah, I could write 7,000 words on the ketogenic diet, right? So people will apply, and you look through who applies, and you hire someone, right? And then you say to them, okay, I want this book, 7,000 words on the ketogenic diet. Go online, find information, and write a book. Make sure to tell them, don't copy and paste anything. Everything that you write has to be unique. and then let them write the book and give them, a week or 10 days to get it done. So then once the book is done, you get back that Word document, okay? So once you get the Word document back, you have to format that Word document and then upload it to Amazon, right? And that's the last two steps. So step 3 is formatting, and then step 4 is upload, right? Uploading your book to Amazon. And then that's basically the 4 steps. Formatting is a very specific task that I can't really talk about so much in a podcast. But what I'll say is make sure you have a title page, okay? And then make sure the font size of your book is 14-point font, okay? Also, something I forgot is you have to get a cover, okay? So to get a cover for your book, go to a website Fiverr.com, right? Fiverr.com, okay? And type book covers, and you'll see a bunch of people who will make a book cover for $5, okay? So these are not the best, right? There's a much better way to do this, and I'll go into details later, but just to get started, go to Fiverr.com, get somebody to make you a cover, make a cover for your book. And obviously you should have a title and a subtitle for the book that you just come up with. And tell them the title and the subtitle and say, hey, make me a cover, right? And, they'll give you some designs, or you tell them what you like, and they'll make it for you. So at this point, you have your Word document because you hired someone off of Upwork. They wrote you X number of thousands of words, right? 5,000, 6,000, 10,000. More is better. So you have your Word document. It's 10,000 words. You formatted it, right? So formatting is more than what I'm saying right now. But for now, just make the font 14 points. Proofread it. Add a title page. And then get your cover, right? Get the cover from Fiverr.com, right? So once you have the Word document and the cover, okay, what you're going to do then is you're going to upload that stuff to KDP and to CreateSpace, okay? So you're going to go to kdp.amazon.com, make an account, okay? And then once you make an account, you'll see, once you log in, that it says upload a new book, right? So you're going to go and you're going to follow those steps, which is like put the title, put the subtitle, put a description, write a description and put it in there, a product description, which shows up on the sales page. And then upload your Word document, upload your cover to Amazon, okay, go through the steps, and then click submit, okay, and it takes about 12 to 72 hours for them to approve your book, and then once they approve it, you'll see that your book is available for sale on Amazon.com, okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your cover, right, and you should, so take your cover, the JPEG of your cover, you're going to get a JPG from your designer, right, from the person who designed you the cover. They're going to give you a JPEG of the front cover. So you're going to take that, turn it into a PDF, right? So there's like a ton of websites where you can convert JPEG to PDF, change it to a PDF, right? And then go to CreateSpace, right, .com, make an account, upload the same Word document to CreateSpace, and upload the cover as a PDF, okay? Now, do that, go through the steps, put the same description that you put on Amazon on CreateSpace, and then click submit, and then wait, I think it's 12 hours to 24 hours for them to approve it, and then that book will be made available for sale on Amazon, right, as a printed book, right? And then over a few days, Amazon will link the two up so that on one page, both the digital and the printed version show up, okay? So I don't want to keep this podcast too long. What I explained to you just now is the idea of self-publishing and how to get started, okay? And when I got started, legitimately, that's all I knew, right? Someone told me about that, and I just started doing it, right? And I had, a couple $1,000, and I just started doing it, right? And, I've been doing it for 3 years now, and there's a lot more to this, right? What I'm telling you is, like, so basic and so general, but it's enough to get started, okay? And the point of this podcast was just to introduce the idea of Kindle publishing, because I feel like a lot of people are very new to this, and they don't even, like, have any idea, right, of like, what's even going on, right? So hopefully this podcast helped you. You have an idea. You have enough to get started. So you should really, really think about getting started, and realistically, you should just try, right? Try to publish one book if you have some money to do that. The better thing for you to do would be to listen to the other podcasts, right? And then try to do it, because I do go into more details in other episodes of the podcast. But for now, hopefully you have a much better idea of Kindle publishing. And, if you have any questions, leave a comment, send me an email, and yeah, so hopefully you have a good idea, and I'll see you in the next episode.